Good morning, all my DIY friends. As you know, I am working on this shed conversion behind me over here. We're really excited. Today is the day that we're going to run electrical, so I'm pumped about that. We've been waiting for that. That's one of the pieces that we've really needed to start completing this project. So today what I want to show you is what we did last night. Is we ran this trench. We went to Home Depot and we rented a trencher. It's a 18-inch trencher. It was kind of a manual one. It didn't have the hydraulic pull on it. And the guy at Home Depot warned me. He was like, "Are you sure you want this without the hydraulic pull?" And I was like, "Yeah, we'll be fine. You know, I'm gonna get Zach to help do it." And but man, it kicked our butt. It was only about 70 feet that we had to run, so it wasn't that bad. But I mean, it really is, it's kind of tough because you have to put the trencher in, it digs. That's the easy part, but then you got to pull it back. So 70 feet wasn't that bad. I mean, it took us maybe 2 hours. I rented it for 4. It was just enough time. It was like $60 to rent it for 4 hours. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you the trench we built. I have 2 lines that I'm going to be running. I have the 6'3" electrical cable with ground that's direct burial that will bury like 18 inches in the ground and run it first. And then we're going to cover it with a little bit of dirt. And then I have a Cat 6 cable that's for burial too that we're going to run. So you can see behind me that we actually ran that's the trench that we dug last night, and I'll show it to you, and I'm going to show you my wire. So let's get to it. It's an exciting day today that we're going to be able to do this and get electric in there, because once I get my electric in the shed, then I could go ahead and start putting my walls up and putting the floor in, completing everything. The goal is to have this done in the next couple of weeks. Christmas is coming, and I want to have all that done before Christmas so we can enjoy the studio back there that we're making. So hope you enjoy it. Make sure you subscribe and hit like to my channel and share it with others. Leave me some comments on some experiences that you've had. All right, let's get at it. All right, here's a look at the trench we built. It's about 70 feet, 18 inches deep, all the way through. Kind of give you a look. This is it. This is where our line is gonna run. If you notice over here to the right, we have our direct burial 6'3" with ground cable. It's gonna come in here, and up under here, if you see where that wire is sticking out, that's just the coating of the wire. Just have as a marker. I'll run PVC pipe up through there and we'll be good. So I do want to show you this line that we have. So I have my cables right here. If you notice, I have two different. This is our 6'3". It's pretty wide. It's around an inch or so wide. Some people will bury line in the ground, but they will actually, when they bury it in the ground, they'll put conduit in. I decided not to do that. Just bought this direct burial, so I don't have to worry about the conduit. And matter of fact, a lot of the conduit for the size I need is hard to get right now. People are going and buying it out for the jobs they have. All right, next to it is I have my Cat 6 line. This is for my internet. Can't have anything without internet these days. So this will actually go, I'll bury this, you know, I'll put probably 6 inches of dirt on top of my line, and then I'll bury my cable. So that's what we have right here. And then this is gonna run all the way into the house. I'm not gonna show you in there because it is very messy. So here's my cable. I have plenty of cable to run more than what I need. And so what we're gonna do is I do have this PVC. So I didn't get regular conduit because it was hard to get, but this is still schedule 40. And because this is direct burial line, I'm not so concerned about it. I just want to protect it from the critters. So what I'll do is when I bury my line, I'll have it coming through. I have a little hole right here that I cut. And actually this was for 1 inch. I had to go and get a 1 1/4 inch. So I got to chisel out some more. I felt like I was trying to break out of prison when I was chiseling that. I don't have a bit that's big enough, so this is gonna happen. That'll sit in the ground some, and it'll come in here and plug in, and then we will be good to go. Hopefully, by the end of the weekend, that thing back there will have us some power. We can start running some lights. I want to show you what I started off doing. So I'm in the shed. I went ahead and run this 1 1/4 inch PVC pipe through the bottom right there. Drilled a hole out. So this PVC runs all the way down into the hole, maybe 16, 18 inches. I have my 6'3" wire coming out. I'm gonna eventually plug it in right here on these three. So I want to give a little bit more than what I need just to have something to work with. So that is ready, and then I'll come outside and I'll show you what I've done outside. All right, if we look right here outside, so that is running up into the bottom of the shed. It's down in my hole. And got my wire somewhat started. So now I'm gonna just take it and run it that way, and we'll start burying it in. So dropping our line in was pretty easy. It just kind of went in smooth. You got a picture of how easy it was. This line is flat, so it just kind of lays in there and it's heavy. All right, so here's the challenging part. Like I said, that was the easier part. So this is my pipe that's going to go into the wall, and then this is going to go down into the ground to kind of just protect my wire. This is in-ground burial wire or direct burial wire, so you don't have to worry about the weather or anything like that. It's pretty insulated. I'll show you right here. So this thing is thick and it is super heavy too, but if you look, the wires are in there, so they have their insulation, but also this wire is pretty thick, and so we got to feed it through this and then get it through my wall and go from the wall, once it goes up in there, into the attic. So this part's going to be a little trickier. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the pieces off and try to remember where they are. So this goes on first, and then this, and then this, and we're going to feed them through there. So I have to first feed, this is 1 1¼ inch pipe, and I'll go ahead and tell you this, I did this on smaller pipe on 1 inch, and it fit the other day when I was doing it in the daytime, and then it got dark and I was still working. It got cooler. I'm in shorts right now. You saw earlier this morning when I first came out and showed you what we did, you know, building the trench and all. I had a hoodie on and all that. You know, we're in this this weather that it changes by the afternoon, so it's warm now. That's why I'm in shorts. But I guarantee you, so this happened the other night, either the pipe shrunk or the cable shrunk. I don't know when the heat hit, but when I went to put the cable in the 1 inch pipe the other night, it would not fit. And so, and I had proof because I'd already run it and I measured the pipe, everything was okay. I promise you this cable shrinks when it gets warm. So, and the temperature isn't that much warmer than it is in the morning, but I don't know, either that or I'm crazy. So hopefully this will be easier, and I think it will be. So we're just going to slide these through, you know, on this. I want to slide it through. I have to bend it a little bit, so you are going to have to kind of work it just a little bit. Luckily, I don't have a whole lot to do, but I don't want to bend this too much. But this is how I'm going to be able to get it through. I'm sure if I went thicker, it probably would have been a lot easier. The only problem with that is I didn't want too big of a hole, you know, in my house. So I'm getting that piece through. I'm going to come back and I'll put the other piece in just a minute, just to double check. This is going to go like that, that's going to go like that, and we should be good. So I'm going to work on that. Alright, this is where you admit your faults and your mistakes, especially being a DIYer, first time doing it. So if you look at this, there's no way that's going to go in down there. What I had to do is, it really needs to go this way. So I went on down here in the trench, and not all at once, but I rotated the wire just a little bit to where I don't have to go and do that whole 30 feet or 20 feet again, because that was a pain trying to get this through this thick pipe. So lesson learned. You know, that's what happens when you do things and it's the first time doing them. So this is where this is going to end up. Got a little more ways to go with this, but we're almost there. I tell you what, this is a pain, so if there's an easier way, please let me know. But anyway, this is going to go in there. I'm not going to connect it yet. I'm going to wait until I get it fed inside, and then I'll get my cement and I'll connect this. So, but that's how it's going to end up. My other piece is right here. So this is my other piece. It's going to go right there, and we're going to feed it in the wall. So as long as I got it turned the right way. You can also see right here, I went ahead and did my Cat 6. That's already in there. I'll take a cap and cap that off. This is going to go down here below this. So let's go ahead and get it running the wall, and then I'm not going to film that. I'll go ahead and feed it in, and we'll get this thing hooked up. Alright, here's our mess we made. We got it, our wires coming through right here into our storage room, and what I'm doing is I'm feeding them up here, and it's going up in my attic, and I'm trying to avoid you seeing what's in this storage room because it is messy. Alright, and so this is what we have to work with right here. I'm going to take you up there. And it's not that far that we have to go. Kind of shine a light down in there. So if you can see where all those wires right there are running down, that's where we have to go. But as you can see, who is going to squeeze up in there? I don't know. So what I'm going to try to do is, this wire is so thick and heavy, I'm going to try to feed it over there. We're going to try to pull this through and see what happens. So I'm not going to film it. It's too much to do and film, so you'll just have to see when I get done. This is what I had to work with when it came to getting my wire fed into my panel. I was able to go in through my my storage or my back room back here, utility room, and let me show you our roof up here. So the roof is very small. This just pitches off of the existing house and it goes to my utility room back there. Well, that right there, you can't get in. It's very tight. And so our pool guy, when he installed the pool, he needed a way to run it from, you know, all the way, you know, this way, and he came in the house and ran it through the attic, but he couldn't get through this little spot right here because it's very tight. And as you can see right there, you know, there is no way anybody could get through there, probably not even a small child. So he cut this hole. It was a little hole right there, but I couldn't get my hand through there to feed it. I mean, it was a pain, and I don't know if you could see. Let me get in there a little more. Yeah, so see all those wires? That's what we had to deal with. So if you look at the big gray wire on the right going down, that's our main feed from the street. And then if you look at the feed right here from the pool, that's this one. Oh, there's my finger. There you go. That's this one right here. So that's what he had to feed through. So he had to feed that through. So he cut this hole. He asked me about it, and we had a hole there. And then what we did is we just put another grate just like that right here. And I'm glad he did it because it gave me access to that. This took forever to get fed in. So ours is this gray one right here, the one up top right there. So that was a pain getting down in that little hole, and we just couldn't find it. And so finally, after hours of trying, I just tore the rest of this out. I know it looks terrible, but I knew I could just replace this piece. I already had, you know, some hardy board soffit from where I've repaired other parts, and instead of just cutting it, I was at the point I just tore it out. And so anyway, that's what we had to do to get in there. We finally was able to feed that through, and the big gray one, which had our line from the shed, and able to get into our box. But yeah, good luck if you ever have to try to get in there. If you have something this tight, it's a total pain. So now I have to come back, and just another thing that I didn't want to have to do and repair this soffit, which I will do. We got our 2-pole 60 amp breaker run, and it was a total pain yesterday to try to get it to squeeze through the wall. Hooking it up was easy. I'm just going to show you what we've done. So this is the breaker that I added right here. This is our 60 amp. We had an extra spot. You see we got our red and black running to it, and it's going up in there. And yeah, so you see all those wires. So that had to squeeze through a little bitty area, and it literally just whooped our butts yesterday. But we got it in. Once we got it there, it was easy to hook in. Then we have our neutral and our ground feeding right here and right here. One thing that I didn't accommodate for was, or account for, is, so when we were slipping it through right here, I thought I had it long enough so the plastic actually stops up there, that the extra wide thick coating of rubber, plastic, whatever it is, that keeps it to where you can make it direct burial. Now that right there made it to where this was really tight to get in here. It would have been nice if we could have run it down like the others and then, you know, back up. But we had just enough. Worst case scenario, we would have snatched it back through the ceiling and try to run it again, which I did not want to do. So we got it all hooked in. Everything looks good. I really don't have much more room on this circuit panel. I think I got one more down there at the bottom right, but I don't plan to do much more, so that would need it. Everything's been tested out. Our electricity works, our Wi-Fi works, so now I feel comfortable with going ahead and putting the cement glue around this PVC and getting it connected. I've already cleaned it off, and then after that we'll use our cement glue here, PVC cement, and then after that we'll go in with our great stuff and seal in our gaps right here. So with this, just make sure that that you clean it off, get it nice and clean. You usually go in on the other side too, on the other piece, but I'm not going to do it because the wire's in there. You know, this us connecting this, we're really just putting this here, the PVC here, just to, you know, keep it out of the weather and any critters messing with it. Now we'll use our great stuff right here, and we will do our gaps. What we want to do is bury our cable today, but what we want to do is separate it. So if you can see, I have two separate poles over here. These are coming out. This one right here is our electrical. This is our Cat 6 cable, totally separated. Now when they go on the ground, they are not going to be, we don't want them really touching. So what we've done, what we're going to do is we are going to separate them. So if you notice here, when we go to fill, we're going to have our electrical right there, and then coming up top, see how it's separated by the dirt. So the electrical will be at the very bottom, and then the Cat 6 is going to lay, you know, maybe 6 inches higher. So that's what we'll do, is we have to run or bury all this. So we'll bury our, go ahead and cover up our electrical line, and then we'll come back and we'll do the other one. We finally got everything hooked up. Everything's buried. All my gaps are sealed up. The electrical works. This is our sub panel that we have in the studio. It's running the lights and our receptacles in here, and it is working. I don't have everything finished out. We're working on that now, putting insulation in, but you know, it's easy now. Like the stuff we have to do is going to be so easy. But this is what we have. We have our sub panel back here, and then I'm going to take you outside. Let's go look at the trench that we have buried. Everything's good to go. All right, as you see here, we have our trenches, or our trench that we dug, and it goes all the way to the house. What we had to do is we had a lot of rain that came through right after we dug it. That's usually how it happens, and it's still a little muddy. I mean, it's been a couple of weeks that we've had to come back, and we took a sledgehammer and packed the dirt in. As you can see, not all the dirt made it back in because it settles into the other grass. But what we'll do from here is, where there's still, you know, it's only a few inches, I'll get some sand, cover that in, and the grass will grow nice and easily over that. If you look down there, that's where it's going into the house. And come over here, and this is where we are coming into the studio. And there's our Cat 6 and our 6.3 electrical that is going in there. Don't forget to go and subscribe to my channel, hit like, and remember, always use caution and safety when dealing with electrical wire. Make sure everything's turned off. Do as much as you can before you actually turn it on, and that way you don't have to worry about getting electrocuted. And do check out the video I have, Almost Shocked, because I almost did get shocked when I hooked this up. I didn't include it in this video because it was so long, but do go check that out. I didn't actually film it when when I caused the short, and but I do explain it, tell you what went on. So appreciate you joining. Go do something yourself.